Hello, Tim. Yeah, I think we're at a stage now where we can start kind of exploring, sort of to get an understanding of your drug history and just sort of an understanding of kind of where you've been and who you are. And this is information that I'm going to collect to help me in helping you, and hopefully maybe also as we do this there'll be some things that will stand out to you that maybe you'll be able to think about some things in a fresh way. Yeah, so let's start by, can you just start by talking about your history of drug use?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, I started drinking back in my senior year in high school.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then after that, after I graduated, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, in terms of school, and so, I had a group of friends I hung out with, my buddies, and, after a while I moved out on my own for, in my own apartment, and then just kind of, I don't know, I just wanted to assert my independence. But with that, I started, doing other things too. I started smoking a lot of marijuana, and then I'd be, every weekend be partying and stuff like that.
So
yeah, that was right after high school.
So that drug, for you, that drug use came out of just this wanting, just kind of doing your own thing, and also your peer group, or how much was that influenced by your peers?
Yeah, I would say that was definitely a time in my life, in my development, when my decisions were directly, very, very strongly influenced by people around me. So yeah, I think I was blind to a lot of the pressures that I was giving into, that I think I'm much more keenly aware of now. But at the time, it was just a part of my, I was just giving in to those temptations, and I was just kind of blindly going along with what other people were doing that I thought was, the cool thing, or the cool thing to do.
Yeah. So you feel I guess in your past you were somewhat short-sighted?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I can still be short-sighted today.
Yeah.
Just maybe in different ways.
We all can. So you said you started with drinking senior year, and where did that go from there?
Well, when I was drinking my senior year, I had a girlfriend that year. That was like my first, like, really intimate relationship, and I started drinking, and then that didn't help the relationship situation at all, and that kind of caused a lot of tension and issues between us. But yeah.
Was that for you two, or also, or just her?
No, for both of us,
Okay.
definitely. I think.
So you had some tension that came right from.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of my own issues that I was trying to deal with, my personal issues that I was trying to deal with, and at the same time trying to sustain a relationship that wasn't looking like it was in a positive trajectory, heading in a positive direction.
What other, from alcohol, did you go to other drugs? Like, what else did that go
to? Yeah, that's interesting. I would drink, and I would smoke, and then, I drank, and then I started smoking, but then I would just, then I kind of started, drinking and smoking, together, started, then that's how I was first, kind of introduced to poly drug use, where you're using multiple drugs, sometimes at the same time, to get like a synergistic effect.
So was that after high school?
Yeah, that was after high school, when I started getting more serious in that respect. Yeah.
Were there other substances then as well?
Yeah, not long after smoking marijuana, I started, marijuana wasn't, I got addicted to it, after a while. At first it was kind of fun and stuff, but then I got, it wasn't fun anymore because I needed it, it made me happy. And so I was always looking up, I had a lot of alone time, I worked, but then I just worked and lived on my own and hung out with my friends, so that's all I did. So I had a lot of downtime, and so, we talked earlier about kind of that longing for transcendence that I had.
Yeah. So that was kind of.
Yeah, and so after that, I was like, well, this weed, this weed isn't doing it for me. Like, this weed isn't enough. I'm not getting that awesome high that I got when I first started smoking it. And so, I started researching things, I was always researching things and learning about chemicals and how they affect the mind and the person. And after that, after marijuana kind of came, it didn't come to an end. I just added another one, So I have alcohol and marijuana, and then I'll start start doing some strong dissociative drug called dextromethorphan. It's a drug that's found in many. It's very easily accessible.
Yeah.
Found in cough syrups and other cold remedies. And it sounds really pathetic, sitting here telling you this. That I would even go to a store and get that just to get high. But it was a very powerful drug in the sense that it got me in a very peculiar, altered state.
So I wanted to switch the focus just a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we can answer this. Maybe try to answer this in 3 minutes or so. Kind of interested if there's some general kind of things about your upbringing, or maybe past depression or other things, factors like that might have influenced your use.
Yeah,
what might be, were they some roots possibly, or maybe your parents' use or whatever?
Well, neither of my parents have been substance abusers. They don't even drink alcohol. I think there's definitely some genetic things about me, since I was adopted. There's some unknowns about my birth parents that I don't know. Some of those addictive potentials, and maybe some of those, just personality, just traits that weren't really understood by myself or my adoptive parents, just because. But when I was about 10, 11, or 12, I think I got, I remember, I must have been depressed because when we went to my family doctor, and I got a prescription for Prozac.
Okay. So you had that depression.
Yeah, so I was on that for a while, but then for some reason I was just like, I don't want it anymore, so I just got off it. So, I don't know what that was all about. I think that was maybe just the beginning stages of kind of that latent depression and anxiety that I was experiencing.
Possibly that had a role. One more thing I want to get at is, so maybe if you can kind of answer this, very briefly in another 3 minutes or so. I'm interested in kind of just sort of to kind of help us process this. Where did you said some of these roots for your behavior that came from that search for transcendence, along with peer influence and kind of just maybe some of your rebellious ways at that time. So taking that in perspective, where do you think you've gone with that? Where do you think you've gone with that now? And then what about the future for yourself?
So you're saying, like, where do I find myself right now?
Yeah, where do you see yourself today, and kind of taking some of those things into retrospect, and what would be your idea for your future
Yeah.
use?
Well, I tell you, I definitely see myself in a lot of ways heading in a much brighter, better direction. I still have my, uncertainties though. Sometimes now that I'm abstaining from, alcohol and other substances, I still find myself, in the present, sometimes I'll be around people who are doing that stuff, and then, I feel like, I'm staying true to myself, but then sometimes I can feel like I'm the weird one now that I'm not doing that stuff, and other people still are. It's just that substances have just been such a big part of my life they were a big part of my life for such a long time, and I think as soon as I started, with substancing, I think, that's where my growth was stunted there, that a lot of my growth was stunted when I was 17, 18. A lot of that emotional, intelligence and development was stunted because I was going over, back to, over and over again to the substance to be my Eden, to be my false artificial paradise.
Yeah, those are it sounds like you're really doing a lot of work processing those things, and that you have an optimistic view of the future, it looks like.
Yeah, I try to.
And certainly that peer thing is definitely something that influences someone your age. Are there any clarifications you might want from me right now?
I think right now, I think I'm doing pretty good. No, this was helpful. It's always good to reflect and process certain things. I just gotta be careful that, I'm reflecting in a positive and well-grounded way, not losing that core identity, not losing that core sense of who I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this has been helpful. So
Okay.
I appreciate being able to come here today.
Yeah, thanks for that input. It really seems like you have a optimistic view, and that you're at least trying to process these things from who you are.
Yeah.